Donald Trump once told President Volodymyr Zelensky at the Oval Office, "You don't have the cards right now." That line stuck. It shaped how many people saw Ukraine: weak, desperate, dependent. But today, that idea doesn't hold up. Ukraine does have the cards, real ones, on the battlefield, in its factories, and deep inside Russia's energy heartland. Let's break down the new Ukrainian offensive, what's happening, what it means, and why the narrative of Russian strength just doesn't match the reality. In mid-September, President Zelensky announced a Ukrainian counter-offensive on the Eastern Front. This was not a vague statement. It came with facts, figures. 7 settlements retaken, over 160 square kilometers liberated, and another 170 square kilometers cleared, waiting for full control. The fighting is concentrated in the Donetsk region, specifically around Dnipropetrovsk and around Kursk. These are not small villages in the middle of nowhere. They are strategic positions Russia wanted to use as a staging ground for its own offensive. Ukraine didn't just defend, it flipped the script. By launching this counter-offensive, Ukraine disrupted Russia's preparations for a major push. It forces Moscow to react, to shift troops, to burn through supplies. This is about momentum. Ukraine isn't waiting to be hit, it's striking first.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
Back in February, Donald Trump sat across from Zelensky at the White House. He looked at him and said, "You don't have the cards." What did he mean by that? He meant Ukraine has no leverage, no bargaining power, and that it was gambling with nothing to play. But 6 months on, look what's happened. Ukraine is making gains in Donetsk. It's ramped up its weapons production, and it's hitting Russia's economy where it hurts the most: energy. If those aren't cards, what are they? One of the least reported but most important stories is Ukraine's defense industry. In 2022, Ukraine was almost entirely dependent on outside supply. Now Zelensky says nearly 60% of the weapons in soldiers' hands are Ukrainian made. Think about that. 6 out of 10 rifles, drones, rockets or shells on the front line produced right here in Ukraine. Factories have been built up and expanded. Drone assembly lines are working around the clock. Ammunition plants are running day and night. Ukraine engineers are adapting Western technology and making it cheaper, lighter and faster to produce. This is not just survival, it's independence. It means when allies hesitate, Ukraine still has teeth. It means Moscow can't count on Ukraine running dry. Domestic production is a card that gets stronger every month. Ukraine is fighting back.
New tonight, Ukrainian drones struck one of Russia's largest oil refineries overnight. This is the latest in Ukraine's campaign to take out Russia's fuel infrastructure. Joining us now, CNN contributor Jill Doherty. She's also an adjunct professor at Georgetown University and the former CNN Moscow bureau chief. Jill, thanks for being here with us. The Ukrainian president of Zelensky telling our Fareed Zakaria that Ukraine is focusing on taking out this infrastructure in an effort to keep Russia from producing more drones and weapons. What do you expect Russia's response to be to this continued effort by Ukraine?
Well, so far, they seem to be downplaying it. And I think, there's a reason for that, because oil and gas, the energy exports that Russia has, are critical to its budget. I mean, anywhere from, it could be like 40, 45%. Sometimes it even has gone up to 50% of the income that they get from exports comes from energy.
Another card is Ukraine's ability to strike deep. This year, Ukrainian drones have repeatedly hit Russia's oil refineries, and not just near the border. Some targets were more than 1,000 kilometers inside Russia. The effect has been dramatic. Reuters estimate about 17% of Russia's refining capacity was disrupted. That's around 1.1 million barrels of oil every single day. And to put it simply, that is fuel Russia cannot refine, fuel that it cannot sell, and fuel it cannot send to the front. Refineries like Kursk, one of the largest in the country, went up in flames. Fires spread, production stopped, exports stalled. Russia was forced to reroute oil shipments from Primorsk to Ust-Luga and Novorossiysk. That is not efficiency, that is a scramble. And when your fuel is shaky, your war machine is shaky.
Amid record high interest rates and a slowing economy, Russia's economy is showing increasing signs of near collapse. In fact, new concerns have now surfaced regarding the rising levels of bad debt or non-performing loans in the country, i.e. when a borrower is unable to make interest payments or is close to default. Now, borrowers struggling to repay puts more pressure on banks, which could lead to a wave of bankruptcies, which has sparked fears of a full-blown debt crisis.
Russia's economic woes continue. Oil and gas make up the bulk of Russia's state budget. They are the lifeblood of the Kremlin war machine. But in September, revenues from oil and gas dropped nearly 23%. Compared to last year, that's billions gone. The Kremlin has scrambled to raise taxes. It has written new budget rules and it's dipped into reserves, but none of that changes the reality. Less money for shells, less money for drones, less money for salaries. Ukraine is forcing Moscow to bleed cash, and at the same time, it's bleeding soldiers. They are coming back in coffins. That's a powerful combination. From the start of this war, the media has often got it wrong. Russia was talked up as unstoppable. Ukraine was written off as weak. But the reality looks very different. Take Russia's so-called summer offensive in Sumy. It was hyped as a breakthrough, but it stalled, with no confirmed advance. Meanwhile, Ukraine's counter-offensives in Donetsk and strikes that shut down nearly a fifth of Russia's refining capacity, those stories often played second fiddle to Russia's propaganda. The gap between perception and reality is huge.
Zelensky says Putin is terrified. You, man. You people. You people are about to start World War III.
Joe Rogan, I listened to your latest podcast. I'm sending you this video to let you know that I disagree. You talk about these American weapons being sent to Ukraine, which you believe will lead to the Third World War. So, let me tell you that you're repeating Russian propaganda. Putin's Russia is in trouble, so they want to scare you and people like you. Putin's Russia wants to destroy Ukraine quietly. They want America to stay quiet. Not great, but quiet. If you invite me on your podcast, we could discuss them like free men.
So what we can expect next in the east? Ukraine will be pressing Russians Russia's positions, not sweeping breakthroughs, but steady, grinding gains where Russia is overstretched. Deep strikes will continue, refineries, export hubs, pipelines, each one cut into Russia's lifeline. On the home front, Ukraine will expand production further, more drones, more ammunition, more self-reliance. The risk, real. Russia still has reserves. Winter will bring new attacks on Ukrainians' energy grid, and allies must stay the course. But Ukraine's strategy is working. So back to Trump's words. You don't have the cards. The truth? Ukraine has territory cards, industry cards, economic cards, and is playing them well. This war is far from over, and Russia isn't winning. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, share, and let's keep telling the truth.